Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we're going to talk about the best normal arena PvP teams for each and every of the Celestial Hypogean characters as per requested. And for today's video, we're using Friendly Duo to showcase it. So there are some fundamental limitations, like for example charms as well as abilities that I can't omit. So pardon me on that. But for today's video, we're going to break down the best team for each of the Celestial Hypogean characters in the current hero pool and discuss why they are the best, right? Like why they are the most fitting for the specific Celestial Hypogean characters. And I'll also talk about the relative power levels as well as substitutes for those of you guys wondering how to team build around all these characters in general. So without further ado, let's start with the first team, Scarlita's team. So Scarlita's best team in the normal arena side should still be the Wilder Sustain Core, because Scarlita's main purpose, or like her main strength, lies in her ability to accumulate attack in the air with the Sanctified Verdict, and her ability to shield the ally when she's in the air with Valkyrie Spirit. So with Scarlita shielding, with Damien's heal, with Hewin's heal plus damage reduction, in most cases, if Hewin's able to get off the ultimate and Damien's able to heal your allies fast enough, you will be able to buy enough time for Scarlita to build up her stacks and then come down, use her ultimate or use her Valkyrie Spirit, slam the opponent, do a whole bunch of true damage, and if the opponent's HP is low enough, you'll be able to just send them out of the battlefield. So pretty good against like the likes of Tarsi, pretty good against the likes of Talene as well, those with insta revive mechanic, Torrent as well. But this team is obviously not that common in the meta, right? Not that powerful because number one, Scarlita is a little bit too slow. Like you need 15 seconds for her to build up, and there are a lot of teams that can burst you down really fast, like teams with Siren, teams with Bonnie Tarsi that are in the meta and they are very popular right now. So that's why Scarlita will be harder to build up unless you have a very powerful healing duo that is able to hold the fort for Scarlita to come down. And another problem with Scarlita is, even though Scarlita's a good answer to Talene Tarsi, there are cases where the map might be a limitation for her, because these units, they are very elusive, they move around a lot. Scarlita being a melee unit might have to chase after this unit to use her skills or use her ultimate and waste precious time, and Scarlita ain't exactly the tankiest when she comes down, right? So this is where this unit can counter kill her before she's able to unleash her Scarlita magic. So that's why you don't see her that often. So we'll showcase this team right here. So for Scarlita's case, right, I think what Scarlita needs in terms of her team build is enough sustain for her to build up, right? Scarlita herself has some sustain, so having healers to give your regen or your unit, and then having Scarlita to apply the additional layer of shielding for the sustain will be in most cases more than sufficient, and that's why this team is the team that is very suitable for Scarlita. For the substitute portion, you can obviously go the Griffon side. You can use Niru in the place of any of the healers, because if you're using Torrent in your team as the tank, right, you will get like at least a 3-2 factional bonus with your healing supports, with your Torrent being a Graveborn as well. So I'll say you can substitute Damien or Hewin for Ludovic, but I think Hewin is quite crucial because Hewin's heal has massive damage reduction if you have the EX weapon up, which is actually really helpful to play the stall game, which fits into the Scarlita team really well. So right here, you can see, right, Scarlita, even though she can do massive damage, but like she's not exactly the tankiest. So there are ways to deal with her before she unleashes her Scarlita magic or her Scarlita ultimate in the battlefield. That's why she has fallen off quite a bit for the normal arena side. So she used to be really good. Right now still usable, but just not as strong as she used to be. So right here, we might be outstarted by the opponent's Hewin, by Zeebo's Hewin right here. So let's just go at 2 times and then see whether or not we can finish the fight. Okay, so residual damage from Bonnie is also a problem for this team. So unfortunately for this round, we are not able to unleash our Scarlita magic onto the opponent, but this is ideally the best team for the first Celestial Hypogean character. Okay, next up, Berial. I think Berial is a very splashable character that can go into a lot of teams, but I think the team that fits into Berial's whole kit of sniping people off, as well as having the synergy with the team, would be with Bonnie, Tarsi, and Talene combo. So you need not have Talene, so that you can treat your Berial as a Talene as well, because Berial is a magical damage dealer that is also able to do AoE damage, and she's also able to do single target damage with the ultimate. So Berial is pretty flexible, and Berial has the additional benefit of being a disruptor if the opponent is split far enough with Shadow Reflection. So for this last unit, I think to make things easier, we'll just go with Hypogean, right, to give us their sustain, for example. So Tasi and Bonnie will be quite crucial for this comp to work. So ideally, you want to use Bonnie for the Decay Switch and then spread the Decay Switch with Blight Surge, and then have all this good magical damage buff for your whole team, such as your Tasi as well as Berial can carry you. So you can also use Berial in the Assassin team. And for this team itself, I think like you have the much stronger and more accessible carrying potential of Talene. So usually it will be Talene together with Tasi and Bonnie. So this is the Berial variant. I think this is the best because you can see Berial is actually pretty impressive on the damage side. So Berial being able to do massive magical damage with the support of Bonnie, and also his ability to go after solo targets to snap them off, synergizes with this team really well. So in similar vibe right now, if you talk about the normal arena side for Talene, it should also be this team variant, right? You just take out your Berial and then put in your Talene over here. So Talene will be able to provide some sort of protection for your Bonnie, and then also offer that magical damage, right, AoE wise or single target wise of the Pyre of Renewal right here. So let's start the battle to showcase it. Okay, so pretty similar to the Berial team. I think Talene and Berial, they fit into this team of doing massive magical damage, and one is more snipey by nature, right? The other one has more staying power with her revive with Talene. By the way, Berial does have a revive as well, but I think Talene is a lot more annoying because if you can't deal with her or her team fast enough, she'll just keep on coming back to life and then use her ultimate to deal massive AoE damage. So this will probably be the best team variant for Talene. So with regards to the substitutes, what you can do with regards to the substitutes would be either including tanks in your team to either protect your Tasi better or maybe protect your Bonnie better, because they are actually some of your main source of damage in the team. I think the main source of damage would probably be Bonnie together with Talene, or Bonnie with Berial, depending on the situation of the fight. And then Tasi will mostly be in the team for that additional revives to be annoying, and also for the control ability. So Hypogean and Damien, they are substitutable as well. You can go for a more faster burst variant by running both Talene as well as Berial in the slot of Hypogean, for example, and have Damien to just provide for the sustain and the haste for the whole team to snipe your opponent faster. So that's for Berial as well as Talene's best team. And next we have Dionel. So Dionel is still pretty much built as a hyper carry for the team. I think we made the necessary adjustments to fit Dionel into the meta better. So for this setup, we still have Dan. Dan is like a combo piece with a lot of the meta carries, which I will talk about later together with Athalia. So that's like one of the current strongest team. But Dan's ability to shut down the ultimate or healing on the opponent's side will provide for additional protection for Dionel against all the ultimate centric burst comps like your Iron teams in general. And then additionally, we have Siren in the team for the shutdown of the opponent's artifact. So this way you shut down the opponent's ultimate, you shut down the opponent's artifact, and then you protect your Dionel better. And then you have Hypogean for that mechanized bond instant buff at the start of battle. You have the buff from our dear Dunlayer onto Dionel for you to max out your Nectar Feast faster. And additionally, you have Damien for the additional heals because Hypogean is a shielder, and then you have Damien for the heals, and also the haste buff, which is also a temporary buff to max out the stack for Dionel. So this team is probably the strongest for Dionel right now because it covers the anti-ultimate, the anti-artifact, and then you just let Dionel do the job to burst the opponent down. So that's that. But with regards to this team itself, I think Dionel right now is very, very weak to backline sniping shenanigans, especially Bonnie teams, right? Because Dionel himself is not exactly the tankiest unit. So this team is still insanely good if you burst the opponent down, but if you don't burst the opponent down fast enough, Dionel gets bursted down by the opponent Bonnie or like Tasi or whatever. And the reason why I'll say Siren is important is because Siren is actually really good against a lot of the Bonnie Tarsi teams in general, especially in Supreme Arena, where you got Thunder Strike. Being able to shut down their artifact prevents that Lightning Strike burst from bringing your carry down. And at the same time, because you are running like Hypogean together with Dionel, right? You have this light barrier factional synergy, and Syra himself can be a pretty good semi-carry with the ability to group all the enemies together, such that Dionel's normal attack can just do a whole bunch of piercing damage. So for the tank option, let's say if you don't have Dun built up, what you can do for Dun slot would be to include the likes of another tank, for example Phraesto. Right, you can also use obviously Talene to be that mid shield standing on the front to absorb damage, so that your opponent has no easy way to burst down your Dionel, so that your Dionel hyper carry strategy goes through. So since we have Dun on the battlefield itself, another optimal team option with Dun would obviously be the likes of Athalia right here. So Athalia team has a few different combinations you can use, but we're gonna go with the Siren and Dun combo. So like Dionel, your Dun as well as your Siren will shut down your opponent's ultimate as well as your artifact. Two main source of really important tools to buff up their team. And then for the other units, you can obviously use the likes of Bonnie for even more sniping power. You can also use the likes of Lily May for additional carrying potential right here. Or you can obviously use Hypogean, right, to buff up your Siren, for example, and then have your Athalia snipe off the opponent. So Athalia is one of the best units in the current meta game. So there are a lot of ways to actually play around with Athalia. So we're going to do something like this, for example. And with regards to Athalia teams itself, you can also fit Athalia into the Bonnie Tarsi combo. You can also put Athalia into your Assassin Snipes. You can also put Athalia into all the different teams that requires her to burst down the enemy quickly, and then allow your other units to steamroll. So yeah, she's one of the strongest, if not the best arena unit right now on the single unit power level. So she fits into multiple teams. She does her job really well, and she's able to deal with a lot of strong meta teams. So another reason why all the hyper carrying strat is not as good is also because Athalia is a unit that goes after the carries really well, because her ultimate is one that targets the highest DPS units. So let's say if she ultimates first before the opponent's carry does, like for example Dionel, you'll be able to snipe them down, right? If let's say for example your opponent is running like Lily May as a hyper carry, she uses the ultimate. If Lily May is not invincible, pump, Lily May goes down. So that's why she's actually insanely powerful against a lot of different meta teams, and her ability to snipe down the opponent quickly is also what makes her a really powerful arena unit in the current meta, together with the likes of Dunlia as well as whatever team combos that can snipe the opponent ace. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about two units which are very similar in terms of what they want to do in the normal arena side. So we have Cryonaia as well as Twins. So both of these units, Cryonaia and Twins, they want to get off to their ultimate ASAP. So Twins is definitely more splashable into multiple teams because they are supports, and getting off their ultimate gives you a massive stat boost as well as unaffected for the allies linked, and obviously additional stats, heal and shielding for the allies in general. So pretty splashable character. In the normal arena side, it's just a little bit tougher to use them because they don't have that much ultimate cast enabler for you to get off their ultimate ASAP. And if they don't go off their ultimate, they lose a lot of their power. So they are definitely usable in normal arena, very splashable into multiple meta teams. In fact, all the other previous team that we talked about, for the support slot, you can just throw in the Twins for that as well. So yeah, pretty versatile, pretty good all-around unit from PvP to PvE, right? So that's for the Twins. And then for Cryonaia, same thing, very ultimate reliant. What Cryonaia wants to do is to get into her domain and then fight the opponent and then win from getting into the domain in general. So there are very little units that can fight Cryonaia in her domain because she gets a massive shield and she does a whole bunch of damage. So Shamira is one unit that can maybe fight her with the ultimate up, and Cryonaia's role in the team is a hyper carry like Dionel, but she wants to get to her ultimate. So that's for our dear Cryonaia right here. So we're going to group her with Twins. So in normal arena, a few ways to enable that would be to use the light barrel faction with the likes of Rowan together with Hypogean once again. So like I mentioned, this duo gives you that protection, gives you that acceleration, and you can just throw in, for example, Siren once again, right? So these are like the meta strategies that you guys can use. So let's say you don't have Siren. Okay, so why Siren? So I mentioned earlier, Siren slows down your opponent's progression, so this will protect your carries better, and being able to shut down the likes of Bonnie as well as Tasi before they are able to burst you down with the combination of their artifact allows your Cryonaia or your twins to survive better. And then that's where you get to your domain first, you get to your ultimate first, and you win the fight from there. So in Supreme Arena with 3 light barriers, you will have the tanks ready, right? So in this case, if you go to normal arena without the tank, what I can suggest is you can put in Siren here and then put a tank on the front line. So there are a lot of tank options. Whatever tank options that are good to hold the front line can be used. I would recommend Dan, because like both our Cryonaia and twins wants to get off their ultimate, and Dan might be a double-edged sword that could shut down the team. And Siren's also amazing with the ultimate, Rowan's also amazing with the ultimate. So for this case, I think you can use Phraesto, right? Give you more energy regen onto the twins, for example, and then some damage reduction onto your Siren for more protection. So something like this. And then we can obviously use like enlightening so that our units get to their ultimate ASAP. So I think yeah, so right here, Siren also has the additional benefit of getting the ultimates off really fast, and this means that you can use Siren as a Lily May bait. So you can tune your energy regen of your team such that you have a Lily May bait, so that you ensure that your twins or your Cryonaia ultimate can go through smoothly in general. So yep, this is the best team setup for Cryo. There's another team setup for Cryo, and that is the Iron Armor's Burst with some protection from like Damien and Hewin for the sustain, and then your Iron Armors will be there for the control, and you get to your Cryonaia ultimate. So we'll showcase that as well. So for that team, I think Iron Armors is just a very splashable combo with a lot of the magical carries in general. So we throw in Iron, we throw in Armors over here, and because there's a Didime on the opposing side, we'll need a unit that can bait out the thing. So we'll use Nero right here, and last but not least, let's also put in Damien. Yeah, let's put in Damien here. So something like this. So let's start the battle. Oh shit, the positioning is wrong. I positioned my units wrongly. Let me recorrect that. We still won, but that's not the idea, so we'll showcase we'll showcase the units in the correct position. Okay. So you want to put your Niru in front so that your Niru can be the bait for the Dime. So right here we have a whole bunch of units that are, I'll say, pretty good in terms of being a Dime sponge. So Cryonaia's ultimate should get through safely. Okay, so you hold the enemy in place, and by holding the enemy in place, you also buy some time for your Cryonaia to get to the ultimate. Okay, so the role of Cryonaia, just get to the ultimate and then win the fight from there with the time freeze as well as all the domain bonuses that she can get. So that's for Cryonaia. Okay, the store variant or the Iron Armor's control burst variant. Okay, so last two units to talk about, Harak as well as Reiner. I think they are more offensive by nature. There are certain teams which works with Harak in Supreme Arena, but Harak's main goal for the team would be to get off his kills and then build off stacks of the Reiner's digestion and start to steamroll from there. So I think you can put Reiner with Harak because you get this like really good damage reduction as well as buff and heal onto Harak, which is quite useful for sustain. And then I think we just build the team around the Wilders, I guess. Yeah, the Wilders will protect our Harak a lot better and give us some burst heal, maybe off Lawson over here. Really good stuff. To be honest, I want Hewin as well, but I think Lawson for the burst heal is quite good. So that's that. And then we put in a Damien. Yep, something like this, for example. Okay, so without further ado, let's start the battle. So you can obviously build Harak in the standard like tank build in general, but I think a team that gives Harak that steamroll potential for that burst kill and stats growing, and then subsequently him carrying the team being super duper big, is the way to go with him. So like I think Lawson is a good choice because Lawson gives him more damage and also the burst heal, and Lawson also has quite a fair bit of debuff with the ultimate AoE coverage, and you can throw in the other healers like Hewin as well as Damien for the Wilder side, or you can throw in Lily May, for example, in this case to give you even more sniping power so that your Harak can build up steam and become the mega carry that he's supposed to be. So Reiner is, like I mentioned, subjective. It's a formation breaker. So like in most cases, I think Reiner has multiple different teams you can fit him into. And in this case, we are using Reiner to buffer our Harak so that he becomes the mega carry for the team in general. So that's it for this video. Just a simple showcase of all the different best teams for all the Celestial Hypogean characters. And hopefully this video is helpful for those of you guys seeking out for this type of contents. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.